Welcome back to the channel. I'm currently at an undisclosed location and for a good reason. I'm here in petrol heads heaven, or collector's cars heaven as you would call it, and something really dear to me because it represents my hometown, especially my hometown Torino, and let me show you guys what I mean. Oh, look at that, guys. If you're new to the channel, my name is Andy, or Andrea if you can pronounce it. And again, I'm originally from Torino, a beautiful city in the north of Italy and home to brands like Fiat cars, Lancia, Pininfarina, Bertone, Nardi and Sparco. I have gasoline in my blood and I wish to share my passion with all of you guys watching. Imagine my disbelief when, just a few months ago, I discovered Classic Italia, a premium car meet initiative devoted to celebrating the legacy and craftsmanship of Italian automotive design. It's hard to put into words how many rarities I saw there, especially the Lancia and Zagato unicorns. I also made a few new acquaintances, one of them being Paul, the avid collector and proud owner of all the beauties we're going to uncover today. The place feels unreal. I'm surrounded by memorabilia, trophies, and coach-building bucks hanging from the ceiling, for one of the most well-curated collections of Italian cars I've ever seen gathered under one roof. And trust me, I've toured plenty of car museums across Italy, all thoroughly documented on this channel. Let's have a tour of this magnificent collection, starting from, yes, you guessed it, Ferrari. Starting from the Ferrari 250 Europa GT, introduced in 1955, was Ferrari's first true Grand Tourer. Designed by Pininfarina, it featured a 3-liter Colombo V12 engine producing 220 horsepower. It was an evolution of the 250 Europa, but built on a shorter chassis for improved handling. Definitely the rare gem here. Only about 27 units were built with the Pininfarina design. The Europa GT competed in the Mille Miglia, and fun fact, it was one of the first Ferraris to use a transaxle for better weight distribution and cornering performance. The interiors are stunning. The wood grain steering wheel. Got the cool little details like the chronographs inside the vehicle. The side indicators here. Beautiful car. Almost a fastback / notchback design from Ferrari. Then we step into collector's heaven with the 275 GTB4 from 1967, an evolution of the legendary 275 series. Designed by Pininfarina and built by Scaglietti, the 4 in the GTB4 name stands for the number of camshafts, the first time seen on a Ferrari road car, together with 3.3-liter V12 engine, and again a transaxle for balanced weight distribution. The interiors are just majestic, with the period correct bucket seats, leather all around, the dominant gauges on the main dash, stunning wood grain steering wheel, just a beauty. You understand why it's highly collectible. This particular example was found and restored in Switzerland and is distinguishable by the bulge on the bonnet, which comes only on the 4 cams model like this one. Then we have the Ferrari 365 GT4 BB, where BB stands for Berlinetta Boxer. It was Ferrari's first mid-engine flat 12 road car designed by Leonardo Fioravanti at Pininfarina. And yes, you heard it right, a flat 12 boxer configuration on this 4.4-liter 12-cylinder engine producing 380 horsepower. How crazy for 1974. With only 387 units produced, it then evolved into the 512BB and BBI, which is possibly the most known one out of these models. Particular detail of this car is the 6-piece round taillights and exhaust pipes to go with that too. These are highly collectible because of this reason. This car specifically was restored back in the UK for Guy Berryman of Coldplay, the famous British rock band, and it retains its original interiors. Beautiful bucket seats with the notorious Ferrari pattern, and a bit of a change with the leather steering wheel from the previous GTB4 we just seen. After this 365 GT4 BB, we get to the 365 GT4 2+2. Now, both of them were designed by the same designer, again, Leonardo Fioravanti at Pininfarina. This 2+2 was introduced in 1972 as a luxury Grand Tourer, featuring a 4.4-liter displacement again, but this time in a V12 configuration instead, and front engine as well, compared to the mid-engine of the BB. Not to mention the 5-speed manual gearbox, and the fact that it was Ferrari's first 4-seater sedan that later evolved into the 400 and 412 models. Only 524 units were built, and a very nimble character considering its weight of just 1,500 kilos and the fact that it could reach supercar speeds at the time, clocking 240 kilometers an hour. It was the choice for wealthy individuals back in the day, and literally how to cruise in style. And then one of my favorites, as it has a sentimental value for me, the 550 Maranello, my poster car when I was a kid. That beautiful center dash console with the gated 6-speed manual, everything about this car screams performance. And we really gotta praise Luca di Montezemolo, the at the time CEO of Ferrari, for bringing this to life. It was of Ferrari's intention, at least Luca's intention, to revive the V12 front-engine supercar layout. It was the replacement for the mid-engine 512 Testarossa TR and a true hero car made under the management of Luca. The fun fact is that Ferrari actually built a one-off 550 Barchetta for Michael Schumacher in 2006. This specific car you see right here in front of you was sourced in Japan, and it still retains the original left-hand drive configuration. And then we have the Ferrari 246 Dino F1. It was the first Ferrari F1 to use a V6 engine, and it's a 2.4-liter unit producing around 280 horsepower. And also the last front-engine Formula 1 by Ferrari, so that says a lot about it. Designed by Vittorio Iano and named after Enzo Ferrari's late son, Dino, of course. It was driven by legendary racers like Mike Hawthorne. And this car you see here today is an exact replica of Hawthorne's one. It was locally hand-built, and as you recall it, if you followed this channel, this is what we spotted at Classic Italia last meet, where Paul decided to go for a stroll down Main Road in this pretty much full-blown race car. How cool is that? And what a sound, guys. And then right there in the corner, the Fiat Dino 2400, the very stylish and sexy Fiat you didn't know about. The Dino 2400 is a Grand Tourer produced between 1969 and 1973, packing a Ferrari-designed 2.4-liter V6, packing 180 horsepower. Another great car coming straight for the motherland. Yep, you guessed it, Torino, where I'm from. Fun fact, this car was available in both trims: convertible, designed by Pininfarina, and coupe, designed by Bertone. So this is the Bertone design, and it was created to homologate Ferrari's V6 for Formula 2 racing. And that's why it features independent rear suspensions for better handling, and it played a crucial role in Ferrari's racing ambitions, as the engine was originally developed for the Dino 246 GT, making it one of the very few Fiat cars with actual Ferrari DNA. The 70s was the golden era of Fiat. They were making 1 million cars per year in 1970, and to contribute towards the wealth of the country, because again, Fiat is the symbol of Italy. All right, we have now stepped into the workshop side of the building, as you can see, with these two, actually three beautiful Maserati, starting from the Bora, you see right here. Stunning design, beautiful, aerodynamic, functional, with the really cool polished stainless steel roof. Who would think about doing something like that? None other than Giugiaro, of course, from Ital Design. This is the 4.9 liter spec, first delivered to the USA and since then restored in New Zealand over a 5-year long period. Back to European spec because this car had the ugly American impact bumpers that we all know about being so hideous. Fun fact about this car, it features advanced Citroën-derived hydraulics for both braking and seat adjustments and a top speed of over 270 kilometers an hour. And this car at the time was rivaling the other big names of the industry like the Lamborghini Miura and the Ferrari Daytona. Now look at interiors for a second. These are proper full-on bucket seats, like one piece, non-reclinable, really cool sumptuous interiors right here. Full of gauges, analog stuff. Even the equalizer, the manual equalizer on the cassette player. Wow, a real jump back in the past, when cars were cool and made to last. Just beside it, we find a close cousin of the Bora, the Maserati Camsin. It's the same philosophy, you know, with the 4.9 liter V8, coupled with the, again, Citroën hydraulic brakes, steering and seat adjustment. This car was sourced just a few years ago and came to New Zealand in 2020, so it's a fresh addition to the collection for Paul. Since then, it has returned to Europe for a 7,000 kilometer stroll, which included attending the 50 anniversary near Geneva, Switzerland, where another 30 Camsins gathered to celebrate the 50th anniversary of when this car was made. Now, I would say that the most striking element of this car, which was designed by Marcello Gandini at Bertone, again, it's the rear glass panel with integrated taillights. I think this solution is quite interesting and I find it brilliant and unique. And then just behind it, we've got the 3200 GT. This is an interesting car because I vividly remember when it came out in 1998. Same wavelength of the 550 Maranello, of course. Clearly not the same performance, but I would say same character, same era. To me, the golden era for supercars. The late 90s, early 2000s. Super luxurious interior with the striking clock right here. Something that Maserati retained for a few years after this one. Designed by Giugiaro again at Ital Design, it's powered by the 3.2 liter twin-turbo V8. So this is a twin-turbo actually, making 370 horsepower. Maserati's first truly modern luxury sports car after Fiat taking over back then. The design is something to be talked about because you see the boomerang-like LED lights that were revised on the 4200 that came after this one. I would say this is the most interesting one because it looks and feels very close to the prototype that was presented back at the Geneva Motor Show. Such an iconic car. All right, guys, we take a little break from our video tour of the collection here at Paul's, and we're here with the man himself. Paul, thanks for having us. And I say us because it's not just me, it's you guys watching as well. I've prepared some questions for Paul, something that gets straight to the point without being too much on the cars side of things because we've already seen that. Something more human, shall we?
Let's go.
Let's do this. So, what was your first car?
Oh, that's a very good question. You did say you were going to surprise me. It was a Volkswagen 1200 Beetle.
Oh, a Beetle, yeah. So we're talking 1960s?
Oh, it must have been early 60s.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, it might have been a 58 actually.
And why that car?
A neighbour had it. You know, as a young man, cars meant a lot in respect of independence and being able to get out of the house and explore.
I believe they still do.
Yeah. So I was into surfing in those days and it was the car to have to go surfing with, and it had some other attributes to the passenger seat which I enjoyed or thought I was going to enjoy.
Oh.
And so that attracted me to the car as well.
Bit of a surprise there, eh?
It was. Cool. The seat would collapse at an inappropriate moment.
Or maybe the appropriate moments, depending who is in.
Well, I have to be careful what I say.
Surely. Next one would be, why Italian cars?
Well, it's a decision I made when I thought I'm going all over the place. I was, you know, English cars, American cars, German cars. So I decided, because of my love of Italy the wonderful design of Italy, not only in cars but
I agree.
in all matters of furniture or clothing or you name it. I thought that's where I want to go. And at that stage I'd actually developed a relationship with Ferrari, and so it was sort of a natural thing to choose Italian cars, but it was because of the start of Ferrari and the need to focus.
We could say sort of the opportunity manifested itself.
Yes.
Sort of. It's how life goes anyway, right? You
Absolutely.
just go with the flow. And
Absolutely.
out of that, what favorite brand or make it's your ultimate go-to?
Well, as I say, I started with Ferrari, and there was a wonderful car dealer in New Zealand who sold Ferrari and had the agency for Ferrari. And he was very hospitable, and he turned me on to Ferrari. It was from there that my sort of love affair with Ferrari started, and I started following Formula One in the days of Schumacher. That was.
I was going to say, what time was this?
Yeah, that was the team to be with.
Yeah.
So all that, amalgamated into the Ferrari thing.
Cool.
But it's been in later years that I've sort of extended away from Ferrari, or not away from Ferrari, but
You branched
additional
out.
to.
You branched out, right?
I did, and started to understand about the other brands that were equally as important in Italian car manufacturing history.
I would agree with that, yes, of course. As I'm from Torino, I can only agree with that.
Yeah, very true.
How has your family and friends been impacted by this? By you doing this, the collecting and the car passion? And
I used to say, my wife and the bank were very much involved in this venture, but it was really for a little bit of fun. No, the family have been very supportive. I have 3 daughters, and they have husbands, and they have boys and girls, my grandchildren, and they're all very supportive of it. And we have lots of family gatherings in this situation here,
sort of
this
family
warehouse.
functions.
Yeah, and so of course they're very happy if I'm happy.
Yeah, they say happy wife, happy life, isn't it?
That goes for children and grandchildren too.
Cool, very nice. I like that. Back to the cars, which was the hardest car to find?
Well, probably my first major purchase, which took me quite some time to get up to speed to make a decision to buy that. A, because they were pretty rare. B, because I couldn't afford it. But as time went by, I slowly hunted down. It was like a burning desire inside me. I had to find that car. And eventually I made the decision, and I think it might have taken me 10 years.
Wow. And what car was that?
Ferrari 275 GTB4.
GTB4, yeah.
Yeah. I met a man in Singapore actually who turned me on to 275s, and he convinced me that it had to be a 4-cam. And at that time he said, don't buy an aluminium body car because they're easy to damage, just leaning against. But that's proved to be not entirely correct, because they are the cars that have become extremely valuable, the alloy cars. But I'm very happy with my steel-bodied 4-cam.
I'll be happy too. It's beautiful just looking at it. The interiors is beautiful in cream, and you get the nice wooden steering wheel. Everything just screams vintage, isn't it? Yeah. That car is beautiful.
Yeah. It is a great car, and Ferrari have used that as a design cue going forward to many, even some of the modern Ferraris.
Yeah, if you look at the A12, the 3 side vents on the upper rear
the
quarters,
spacers on the side.
those are from the GTB4. I've noticed that.
Yeah, right.
Very interesting. Yeah.
No, it's a very well thought through car, and with that V12.
Very well engineered, isn't it?
It is. It is.
Tell us about a standout moment you've had behind the wheel of one of these. So, is there a moment that you remember vividly in your mind that...
Well, there's plenty of moments actually.
Like a puncture in the middle of the Stelvio Pass, these sort of things,
We were doing a tour in Italy with Modena Cinto Ora, and I can't remember where we were, but the day's stages had finished and we were back on a normal road, probably a B road. But as we were sweeping around to the right in the B20, it decided to break a steering rod, and we were going fairly quick. But luckily, when the front right tyre wheel moved after the rod broke, it actually went and acted like a brake. Anyway, we finished up this far from some Armco, and we were very, very lucky. But the amazing thing was how it got repaired that night. Not perfectly, but it got it back up and running. And,
at least to get it going.
And the next morning we were back at the first stage of the day.
Oh, so you were not just driving, you were back at racing?
The next day.
The next day.
Well,
wow.
Well, racing in a gentleman
of course.
track.
And this is with the Aurelia B20.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Lancias proved to be sturdy enough, but also easy to fix in terms of getting it back on the road, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. You know, there've been other incredible moments. There's one particular car that in Europe and the States, it's a 1955 Ferrari Europa GT. I think I've done well over 30,000 kilometres touring and doing events all over the place.
But that's what they were built for.
Yeah. And I tended to drive them to events. I didn't necessarily put them on a transporter and get them delivered. I would actually have the experience of doing the trip. Yeah. So from one end of Europe to the other, and from LA to Colorado, drive the car, and that was part of the total experience.
Well, you know what they say, it's the journey, not the destination, isn't it?
Absolutely.
And these cars definitely tick the box for that. Do you have any cool moments with your kids or family members or your wife when you were driving one of these?
My first grandchild, when the wife and I were in Europe, we went to a Ferrari shop and we bought him a little race suit, a little red race suit, a la Schumacher.
Yeah.
And so he was about 2, I think, and I was doing a rally here in New Zealand in a Maserati, a more modern Maserati, a 4200 Trofeo.
Nice.
But I've got this photograph of him sitting in the driver's seat, holding onto the steering wheel in this little Ferrari race suit, and he's looking at me, and
start him young.
He's now 16, and he's still got that little suit hanging in his wardrobe.
I wonder if he remembers it. It's hard at that age.
Oh,
but
I think he does.
Yeah.
I think because he's got that race suit there to remember.
Yeah, sort of brings it back to that day.
Yeah, but he's just one of a few children, and they've all got stories with me and the cars.
Are you still hunting for cars up to this day?
You know, I was thinking about that over the last week or so, and the world has changed. You know, I used to buy cars in Europe and then go to Europe and use them and, you know, have the experiences of them failing or needing repairs or whatever, and then bring them back here to New Zealand and then getting them complied here and what have you. To actually source a car offshore and bring it all this way is not as affordable as it used to be. In this country now, they are more strict about having a car complied for New Zealand roads. So all these things sort of combine and making life a little bit more difficult. But
although for the specific car you're looking for, that would be something you would go through again, right?
It would be. I do have to contend with family issues with regard, you've got enough cars.
Yeah, of course.
And I do. I certainly do. But you never know. Something might come along that really appeals. Yeah. I don't know if I'd be going to, you know, the high-end market, but the more everyday, like the Lancias, for example. That's a sort of, I enjoy the challenge of finding the car, learning about its history, getting in it for the first time and driving it. It's, you know, that's very, very special.
When you test, that must be an incredible feeling. Now with Paul, how would you want to be remembered?
Oh, as far as cars go?
That's entirely up to you.
Well, it's a very good question.
It's an open question.
Yeah. Yeah. Some people ask me, which car is your favourite? It's a difficult question to answer. There's so many things that have happened in my life that I remember but other people won't. But the 275 was a car that meant a lot when I first bought it, and it's still with me. So I've owned the car for 20 odd years now. That has a special moment for me. It's that car that, as far as cars go, how I would like to be remembered, the special car, 275.
Is that car what started it all? Your collection, your sort of, this aspect of your life?
It was one of my very first cars, special cars. I'd had everyday driving cars for my work and what have you that were reasonably special. But as a pure classic and a special car in the eyes of the world, that was the first car, yeah. So that's got a lot of memories for me. So if I can be remembered for that car, then I'll be happy.
That's a great looking car. And yeah, I think it's the most pertinent one in this collection from my standpoint. I like the Lancias, of course, because it's the heritage of my city, my hometown. But there's something about that car, the 275, that just screams awesomeness and heritage and legacy.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting that as time goes on, cars change as to their popularity and their design features. What's fashionable in a classic car today might not be fashionable tomorrow. And colours are a very important factor as well.
Totally agree.
And I never used to worry about the colours so much. But now it's a more important factor in the eyes of younger collectors. And if you've got the wrong colour on the right car,
you just get penalised.
It doesn't work so well. And of course then you've got the factor of, was it the original colour? Was it not the original colour? But colour and design is extremely important in my mind.
I totally agree with that.
And the drivability of them is the cream on the cake.
Cool. That was a great note to end. And what do you guys think? Paul is a great character. So thanks again, Paul.
Thank you, Andy.
It was a great time. And we continue now for the tour, and we got a lot of cars to go through, so stay with us. Don't change the channel.
Ciao.
Ciao. It is now time to focus our attention on the other half of the collection. The Lancia, Alfa Romeo and Zagato showcase. Starting from the Lancia Aurelia B20 GT Series 4. This revolutionary Grand Tourer was introduced in 1951 with the Series 4, like the one you see right here, in 1954-1955. Designed by Pininfarina, it's powered by a 2.5-liter V6, and on that note, this was the first V6 production engine in the world. So Lancia retains this incredible feat of designing and mass-producing the first V6 in the history of cars. The lightweight chassis in combination with the excellent handling of the transaxle configuration made it successful in motorsport, competing in the Mille Miglia and Targa Florio. This car right here has indeed participated in the Mille Miglia with its previous owner, and after that it has done several tours of Europe like the Modena 100 Ore. Fun fact, the Aurelia was praised by Juan Manuel Fangio, who actually owned one as an everyday car. Its balance and performance made it a favorite among gentlemen racers. Then we get to Hollywood special, or at least Cinecittà, the Hollywood of Italy in Rome, with the Lancia Flaminia GT Touring, designed by Carrozzeria Touring, and a lightweight Grand Tourer introduced in 1959. It also featured aluminium body panels and the Superleggera construction method. This one you see right here is a 2.5-liter single carb first series engine. As I was mentioning before about Cinecittà, this car was an icon of glamour and a symbol of the Dolce Vita, the ideal car to drive on the Amalfi Coast or the Italian Riviera, the luxury alternative to Ferrari and Maserati GTs. Picture the most chic and famous starlets at the time, like Sofia Loren and Gina Lollobrigida, standing right next to it. Now, staying on Flaminia business, we step into Zagato territory for a second with the Flaminia Sport 3C. This was introduced in the 60s again as a lightweight, high-performance version of the Flaminia we just featured. It was designed by, obviously, the renowned Carrozzeria Zagato. The 3C stands for triple Weber carburetor configuration on the 2.5-liter V6. This car has the signature double bubble roof for improved aerodynamics and extra headroom for racing helmets. Now, how cool is that? Such a beautiful design. And back in the 60s, some of them raced in the Targa Florio again, while this car you see right here was restored near Lake Garda in the north of Italy. Fun fact, only 174 were built, making it actually one of the most collectible Lancia today. Two things come to mind when I see this car. I would say top craftsmanship and racing pedigree. Again, the interiors are just stunning, eh? And pretty much all of these cars are manual, so you know I'm a big fan of that. Everything looks more refined, more streamlined, a much different outlook compared to the original Flaminia we just featured. Unbelievable to think it's the same car, but with different panel work. Appia Vignale. Now, we left a rag in here to highlight the fact that this car is unrestored. It was sourced in Milan, where it was sitting in a garage for 30 years, actually more, because as you can see right here, the last time of registration and insurance was 1973. It's funny, it says rodaggio right here, which means to run in, like running in an engine. The power plant is actually a very tiny 1100cc V4 with just a handful of horsepower, but it made the perfect city car. And I love all the badges that you see on this car, like these ones on the side, the Vetture Speciali and Appia Convertibile, which is possibly not even a word in Italian, convertible, but we don't say convertibile, so it's quite cool. And this one actually features a removable hardtop. As you can see, it's different color as well. And it has great patina all over it. The outcast, the outlier of this collection, I would say. Still has the original Milan license plates, so can't get any more Italian than that. Even here in New Zealand, guys. So, fun fact about this car, the Appia Vignale was popular among Italian celebrities of the era, thanks again to the chic and exclusive character. We finally get to Lancia Fulvia 1600. If you know your cars, you would know that Fulvia is a striking name in the Lancia history of rallying and a very popular car back in the day. This is a special lightweight variant, of course, of the Fulvia, having received the Zagato treatment. Out of all the Fulvia produced, only 800 are packing the 1600cc V4 engine, and obviously the aluminum body for a very nimble character. This car specifically comes from Torino, my hometown, and it spent most of its life in the north of Italy before being imported to New Zealand. Now, one thing to note about this car is the fastback shape set it apart from the standard Fulvia from Lancia. Getting to the next part of the feature here with Zagato, these two Alfa Romeos are quite striking, and the 2600 Sprint Zagato, this one you see right here, is the real piece of the resistance of this collection. Only 105 produced, is regarded as one of Zagato's finest creations and really shows. Out of these 105 units, only one is known to be right-hand drive configuration. It was made as such to be road compliant in Hong Kong, where his wealthy customer ordered it from. This car was then restored over a 10-year-long period by a fellow Kiwi that found it for sale, still in Hong Kong, and it's powered by potent 2.6-liter inline-6 with a lightweight construction, and even Enzo Ferrari praised it for its performance, styling, and sheer driving pleasure. Design down here at the back, which we call in Italian coda tronca. You can see it's quite distinctive, the cut that the tail end takes. Proper coach building finest. I cannot say or spend any more words on the beauty that this car exudes and expresses. Next one up is the Alfa Romeo 1600 Junior Z Milana. This was obviously, again, designed by Zagato, and the 1600 Junior Z is based on the Giulia platform and powered by a 1600cc twin-cam engine. A very distinctive wedge-shaped design for the front nose, as you can see, and a lightweight body construction. Although it was a more stylish and capable Grand Tourer than the GTA, the nickname Milana comes from its connection to Milan-based Zagato, of course. Beautiful interiors right here with the bucket seats and the reclinable headrests. This car's provenance is quite interesting because it belonged to a Zagato employee. He's a good friend of Paul, Dr. Paolo di Tarento. The most distinctive element of this car is the see-through front headlights grille, and I don't think there is any other car in the world that can claim to have a headlight grille. And notice also Zagato's attention to detail with the asymmetrical wiper notch here on the bonnet. Those are the things I like the most about cars. Just the character, the exuberance that they display. Quite a rarity again. Quite the rarity. And now, after Zagato, we step into a Lamborghini, the only one here in this collection, the 400 GT 2+2. This car is from 1966 and it represents an evolution of the first ever Lamborghini's production car, the 350 GT. Designed by Carrozzeria Touring, it packs a 4-liter V12 engine paired with a 5-speed manual transmission, and the 2+2 actually means space in the back for passengers. Because up until that moment, supercars were just straight up 2-seater. This was actually the first Lamborghinis officially sold in the USA and the actual first serious Ferrari competitor. Because remember the story, right? Ferruccio went to Enzo and he said, well, your cars have a clutch problem. Why don't we partner up and fix it together? And Ferrari said, go back to your tractors, and Ferruccio took it personal. It's only 247 units ever built of this car, and a very interesting story here with this first Lamborghini to be delivered to New Zealand in 1969 after a brief year in Sydney. All original with only 45,000 kilometers, one of only a few right-hand drive made by the factory. So this is actually a Marazzi-made 400 GT. Hiding right here in the corner is Lancia Delta Integrale Evoluzione 2, Evo 2, in giallo ginestra. So this is regarded as the ultimate hot hatch by car connoisseurs, and the Evo 2 is the holy grail in the Delta Integrale lineup, produced in 1993 by the way. It's the final and most refined version of the Integrale and powered by a turbo 2-liter 16 valves engine producing well over 200 horsepower, which it might not sound like a lot right now, but on this trim and on this full independent suspension all-wheel drive system, it makes total sense. Look at the increased wheel arches, the fenders like that. This one comes in a striking yellow, named Giallo Ginestra. A limited run of 220 units in this color with Alcantara interiors. Proper bucket seats. This specific car you see right here was first delivered to Siena and then made its way to Japan, so still retaining the European spec, before coming into New Zealand, of course, ending up in this collection. That giallo, that yellow, is just so vivid, isn't it? It's beautiful. And then the last car in the collection is the Autosud Napoli Formula Junior. Now, this is the car that started this whole initiative of me featuring Paul's collection, because I actually met Paul at the track competing in a single-seater historic racing series, but then you see right there it says Nuova Zelanda. I was actually confused because I seen Italian stickers, sort of drew my attention to it. And after a brief chat with Paul, I discovered that this is actually one of 3 ever made. It's called Pellicano or Pelican because of its striking resemblance to a long pelican beak. It's a Formula Junior racing car built in 1959 with only Fiat parts coming out of a Fiat 1100 saloon, and it was racing in an entry-level series that launched the careers of many future F1 drivers. Minimum curb weight, 400 kilos. It mounts a transaxle gearbox system, which is basically just an upside-down one from a Fiat 600D. This car specifically has attended many historic GPs, like Monaco, for example, Goodwood, Dijon, and all over New Zealand. Out of the 3 ever produced in the world, this is the only known one to be still racing today. What an achievement, what a feat for this great little 1100cc Fiat engine. Wow. And there you have it, guys, the complete tour of Paul's collection. I mean, what better ending than this? Me sitting in this magnificent 275 GTB4. And now, I gotta go. Catch you later, guys. Bye-bye.